Warning: viewers' discretion is advised as this may contain mature or triggering content. Story prompt: Broken. Title: Musically Bound. Eric sat in the car waiting on his mother. His mom had pretty much ripped him off the stage and ran for the car, but Michael had followed. Seeing his real father in person was odd, and now he understood why his mother had always been so cautious about certain auditions and competitions. "Why did you keep this hidden from me?" Michael shouted, and Eric flinched. Was his biological father just like the man he had known his whole life? Angelica looked to the ground. "You have no right to yell at me. I put up with enough of that from my husband." Michael froze. What? She turned her eyes to him. "Do you have any idea how mad Ben was when I told him about our mistake? He beat me that night, refused to touch me, other than when he wanted to take his anger out, and then I found out I was pregnant." Tears streamed down Angel's face. "I wanted to tell you. I wanted to get a divorce, but everything would fall in Ben's favor. I couldn't. I needed someone to support our child, and it certainly wasn't going to be you, because you didn't have time to deal with that." Eric saw Anna and her mom heading towards their car. He glanced over to his mom and Michael as they stood only a few feet from the car, and he opened the door, rushing out of it and leaving the door open so as not to make a sound. Once he was closer, he called to her, "Anna!" Anna turned. "Hey!" It felt like his world lit up, but then her mom blocked him. "What do you think you're doing, young man?" Her stern expression made him freeze. Sorry, it's just..." Would the woman think him crazy? "Mom, please." Anna's voice was soft as she stepped around her mom and grabbed his hand. "He's the one I've been hearing, that I've felt." Her mom glanced at her with a small frown before sighing. "I told you..." "Ma'am, please. Your daughter's music has been the only light in my life, the reason I've survived." Shock crossed Olivia's face. She ran a hand over her face. "Are you too serious?" Eric and Anna nodded. "I don't want to believe it, but I also know there wouldn't be anyone but the judges who knew that song, and I have to admit when you two played together I felt something." It scared Olivia, but if her daughter meant it, then she wouldn't block their happiness. "So, boy, what's your name?" Anna's smile grew and she rushed to hug her mother. "Thank you, Mom!" Olivia smiled. "Just tell your father you met him in a normal manner. He doesn't need any more stress." Anna nodded, glancing at Eric. "My name's Eric Alf. It's nice to officially meet you, Anna, and..." "Just call me Olivia or Mom. Something tells me nothing is going to separate the two of you." Eric smiled before he heard his mother shout. Olivia glanced over. "I take it things aren't simple for you. I can also guess that the bruise is from your father?" Eric flinched, having forgotten about it. "Eric, will you be okay going home?" Eric stared at the ground. "I don't know." Olivia sighed. "Let's head over." Anna grabbed Eric's hand, giving it a gentle squeeze as they headed towards his mom and biological father. "I tried!" Angel screamed, and they all froze. Angel's legs grew weak, and she slid to the ground. "Mom!" Eric rushed to her side. "Are you okay?" he asked, pulling her into a hug and glaring at Michael. What had he missed? Maybe he shouldn't have left his mom's side. Michael shook his head, bending down next to the two of them. "Angel, I don't know what's happened. What do you mean you tried?" She trembled. "I tried to get in contact with you the first time Ben lashed out at Eric. I didn't want him to have to deal with that. I thought Ben had accepted Eric once he was born. He wasn't cruel to me. I didn't mind taking the beatings here and there, as long as it meant Eric and I weren't out on the streets. But when Ben began to hurt our son, I tried reaching out to you, and I was responded with money thrown at me by your father, telling me not to be some gold digger. I left the money there and tried again, and I was told If I bothered you again, you'd press charges." Shock filled Michael's face. "Angel, I would never." She wiped out her tears with shaky hands. "I didn't know that. You completely stopped talking to me. I tried messaging you and calling you, and I was blocked. I figured you hated me and there was nothing I could do. So I had been saving up money with jobs I got, hoping one day to get a place for Eric and I so I could divorce Ben. I'd been working so hard to get through all this." She glanced at Eric. "I'm sorry. I know I should have done better for you, and I know I should have told you all of this sooner. You probably blamed yourself, but it's all my fault. I hope you can forgive me, Eric. I really didn't mean for any of this to happen." Eric pulled his mom into a tighter hug. "It was hard to accept, but it makes sense. I at least know why why that man hates me so much. If he had a problem with it, he should have asked for a divorce. I just think he's a cruel man who enjoys beating us." Anna was crying as she listened and watched Eric and his mother. "Mom, can we help them?" she whispered, and her mom pulled her into a hug. "If they want our help, we will offer it." Michael sighed. "Move in with me." Eric and Angel glanced at him. "What?" Angel asked, confused. "Move in with me, Angel." He groaned. "That night we slept together, I should have never chosen my career over you. It still haunts me to this day. I should have chosen you and taken care of you, but my father's word about fame got into my head and—" He took in a deep breath, a faint blush covering his face. "I went to check on you." Angel stared at him. "Sorry. I know that makes me sound like a stalker, but I wanted to see if you were happy. Any time I saw you guys out at a park or eating out, you always seemed like a happy family, and it hurt. But I didn't know that it was all a facade. If I had, I would have stepped in long ago, especially after hearing you say Eric is my son. My father had no right to butt into our business. I'm sorry." There was a silence for a while before Angel stood up, with Eric's help. "I don't think I can just pack up and go. You can't expect me just to accept you back like that, can you?" Even as she said the words, her heart ached. There had always been a part of her that longed to have Michael back by her side. She had never been sure why or how, but when she played, she remembered all the good times they shared, including that night. Michael frowned. "I'm not asking you to love me, Angel. I simply am asking you to use me. Let me be there for the two of you. Make up for the years that I wasn't." Olivia stepped forward. "Sorry, I don't mean to pry into this, but what if you and Eric come stay with us? Even if it is only for a week or so, it would give you plenty of time to think things over. It would also mean you two would be safe," she said, reaching over to grab Angelica's hand. "Since your son and my daughter seem connected with each other, I would like to help." Angel glanced at the woman who was smiling softly. I I don't want to be a bother to you and your family." Olivia chuckled softly. "We could use the company since my husband's stuck in the hospital. It's been a bit lonely for the two of us, so you won't be intruding at all." Angel glanced at her son. "Is she the girl you were talking about?" He nodded, and Angel glanced back at Olivia and Anna. "Would you mind, then, if it's not too much to ask? I was honestly thinking about trying to find a hotel for us to stay in after Ben's last outburst." Olivia nodded. "You're more than welcome. I won't rush you to try and find a place or make up your mind." Olivia glanced at Michael. "Before she goes trying to decide what's best for her and her son, she'll be in my care. You, if she and Eric are okay with it, are more than welcome to visit. Perhaps visitations would be the best to reconnect. But I will not allow you to pressure her into anything. Understood?" Michael was a bit taken aback by the woman's strength. Yeah, I wouldn't want to do that anyways. Thank you. If you need anything, this is my number." He handed her a card and she took it. I will send you the address and code to our house, Angel. I would say follow us, but we are heading to another contest after this one. Angel nodded. Uh, are you sure you want to do this? What if I was someone just trying to rob you? Olivia began to laugh. Well, if that were the case, I could find you. I work for the police as one of their hackers, if you will. I could find and track just about anyone I want. Shock crossed Angel's face. I would even be willing to help you file for divorce. I'm sure with my help things would move smoother. Angel nodded. Thank you so much. I don't think I could ever be able to thank you enough for your help. A week later. Is this all of your stuff? Olivia asked, glancing at the truck that only held a few boxes. He went crazy. Olivia frowned. I take it he saw something on TV? Angel nodded. He even destroyed Eric's piano. I mean, I wasn't sure how I was going to move it anyways, but still. Mom, it's okay, Eric said as he and Anna began to grab boxes to take them inside. We have a piano you could use, Anna said as she grabbed the door and opened it for them to head in first. Oh, that's right, your father's piano. It hasn't been touched in a while, so it might need to be tuned, but you're more than welcome to play it, and I would love to hear the two of you play again. Thank you, Olivia. Olivia smiled at Eric. No need to thank me. It's only right to help those in need. And as you said, that man has lost his mind. Destroying things just because you met your biological father, though he never acted like a father himself, it's laughable. Eric and Anna vanished upstairs, putting their boxes in Eric's room. Angel sighed, setting the boxes down she carried in. I have to admit, I was shocked and scared when we collected our things and the house was a mess. Thank you for sending the cops to us. Olivia waved off her thanks. Right now, you need to focus on yourselves. Decide what you want to do. Oh, Michael called and asked if he could come check up on you again and help us move things. I told him yes, but if he arrives and you don't want to see him again, just tell him to leave. Angel gasped. But that's a 3-hour drive. How could I turn him away? This is the 4th time he's come down here. Olivia winked when the doorbell went off. And this'll be a test to see how willing he is to listen to your wishes. I told you, I am here to help. But don't you dare think I didn't see the glimmer in your eye. You still feel something for him. So, find out for yourself what that might be. These last few times he's come, you've somewhat avoided him. Besides, he has plenty of money to cover the back and forth trips. Don't worry about it. Also, having someone to help with these boxes will make time fly by, and I'm hoping the two of you will say more than a few passing words. Angel blushed. Okay, she muttered, heading for the door. Thank you again, Olivia. She opened the door to see Michael standing there with a couple of boxes. Hello, Angel. She let him in. She told me you'd be coming. He walked through the door and glanced at the two women. I didn't have your number, and she gave me hers when she called to inform me about your husband. Olivia walked by them, grabbing a few more boxes. I told him if you rushed down here when you found out Ben had tore up the house, it would only make the situation worse. Angel sighed. It would have. Ben arrived at the tail end of us grabbing things. They had to cuff him. Olivia rolled her eyes as the two of them stared at each other. Well, come on. I don't want to be the only one to take all these boxes inside. Oh, yeah, they muttered, scurrying to grab boxes, and Olivia's smile grew. She knew what Angel's choice would be, but Angel needed the time to see it for herself. Perhaps today would be the day. It only took them about an hour and a half to unload everything out of the truck and then drop it back off at the hauling agency. Eric and Anna were busy talking and watching a TV, while the three of the adults sat in the kitchen drinking some beer. I hope you guys like chicken and rice. It's what I planned on making for dinner, but I think it's well suited for lunch and dinner. I'm fine with anything, Angel said, taking another sip of beer. You won't hear me complain. It's been a while since I've had any home-cooked meal. I'm usually too busy. Olivia smirked. Well, make yourselves at home. Angel stood. I'll be back. Need to use the bathroom, she said, heading off. And Michael sighed, downing the rest of his beer. Do you think she'll open her heart to me? Olivia glanced at him. Maybe. But give her a chance to relax first. You don't seem like a bad guy, Michael. You just listened to the wrong thing. You mean my father? Olivia shook her head. No, you listened to your brain instead of your heart. Oh. Well, my dad always said listening to my heart would bring me nothing but trouble. Some part of me knew I shouldn't have listened to him. My parents didn't marry for love, they married for benefit. Olivia shook her head. And why did you never marry? I'm sure your father probably wanted to use you for more gain. Michael scratched the back of his head. He tried, but after the fourth arranged meeting I told him to either stop or he loses me. Olivia nodded. And? Well, he stopped, of course. Why would he want to lose a genius son? Michael rolled his eyes. I should have tried harder, looked deeper into Angel's marriage. Oh, and then turn into a true stalker? What would you have done if you found out she was truly happy and Eric was your son? Michael frowned. I don't know. Maybe left them alone. After all, I'd want them to be happy before I myself were happy. Olivia paused, her eyes moving to see Angel standing there, tears sliding down her face before she turned and vanished once more. That was a very good answer, Olivia said, before turning back to the food she was making. It wasn't long before the sound of the piano could be heard, and Michael looked behind him. It's been a while since I heard her play. Olivia glanced at him. How do you know it's her and not Eric? He smiled, standing, heading towards the room the piano was in. I can feel it. Olivia thought about Eric and Anna. So that's how it is, she muttered, watching Michael vanish. Michael found Angel at the piano, playing a very gentle song she had written when she was a child. He watched her for a while before heading in and sitting next to her. His hands brushed against the keys of the piano, making her pause for a moment before she continued. It was a soft and bittersweet melody, one that Michael and her had played often when they were kids. I didn't know you still played, he whispered once they finished. She took in a shaky breath. I stopped playing after that day. Michael scratched the back of his head. So that's why I didn't. Don't say it. Michael glanced at her. But you know it as well as I do. When we play together, there's something there. Angel clenched her fist. Yeah, and you ignored it for your career. Michael flinched. I know. And I'm sorry, I shouldn't have ignored it, and I know it would have been selfish of me to try and bring it up after you'd started dating Ben. I was young and foolish, but I'm not like that anymore, Angel. Can't can't you just try and depend on me? Like I said, I'm not asking you to love me anymore. I just want to be able to support you and Eric. Maybe get to know my son a bit better, if you'll allow it. Angel closed her eyes, taking in a shaky breath. I don't know. Michael watched her. You can't stay here forever, Angel. Her eyes opened, sharp. I didn't plan to. Is that what you think? He covered his mouth. No, I don't know why I said that. Maybe I am still a bit foolish. Angel watched him as he stood. I'll leave now. Just think about my words, okay? He left the room and she sat there for a moment, her heart aching. She wanted to run back to him. It felt like her heart would explode if she didn't. When he had sat down and they'd played together like old times, something in her mind and body just clicked. She shot up from the piano seat, rushing down the hall and past Olivia. Where are you going? Angel paused for a moment. We had a fight, but I can't just let him leave like this. He may leave for real. Olivia nodded. Well, go get him. Lunch is ready. Angel got out the front door to find Michael in his car and leaving. She rushed forwards, waving her arms in the air and praying that he would look back. When she saw him hit the brakes, her heart stopped. She rushed to the side of his car and he turned the car off, getting out. Yes, You are still foolish, but it can be part of your charm, she blurted out with a small blush. Michael blushed slightly at her words. Is that a compliment? Angel collected herself. Kind of. Okay, She paused, thinking about how to word things. We both messed up in the past. It can't truly be blamed on just one person. I can't say that I'll open up my heart to you fully, but I want to give it a try. I just I want to give us a chance and see where it goes. I don't care if my decision seems rushed right now. I just feel like if you leave right now, nothing will be able to be fixed between us. Michael watched her for a moment before he pulled her into a hug. Does that mean we just unloaded all your stuff for no reason? Angel laughed softly. That depends. Do you actually have a house that the three of us can live in? He blushed slightly. When I saw you, Ben, and Eric, I went and bought a 3-bedroom house. Sometimes I would pretend that you and Eric lived there with me and we were a happy family. Angel stared at him for a moment. You were always such a weirdo at times. He scratched the back of his head. Well, I couldn't find anyone like you. I tried, but none of them would do, and the music we played together is so magical. He nodded. I've never felt anything like it when playing with others. Angel leaned her head on his chest, listening to the frantic beat of his heart. Neither have I. Do you know, Anna and Eric are the same. They too are bound by music. I wonder if there's others like us. Michael shrugged when Angel pulled back. Probably. But if they are bound by music, let's make sure they don't make the same mistakes as we did. Shall we head back in? Angel nodded as they turned. Everyone was waiting at the door. Eric glanced between them. So I take it we'll be leaving. Angel nodded. I think it would be best not to bother Olivia and Anna any further. Eric rolled his eyes. Come on, Mom. Don't make up excuses. But what about me? Angel paused. Do you not wish to get to know your actual father? Eric glanced at Michael, a small blush on his face. Well, he scratched the back of his head. I mean, kind of. Olivia smiled. Well, that's great, but I would hold the thought off until your divorce case is done. Angel glanced at Olivia. It's better not to stir up any more unnecessary things, so you guys stay with us until it's done, and then you can move in with Michael. Until then, Michael, you have more than enough money to come and visit them, don't you? He nodded. Of course. Olivia smiled. Then so be it. Now, everyone, inside I made extra, and it better not go to waste. The end! I hope you guys enjoyed that. I honestly fell in love with these characters. I kind of still want to work with them, but I'm not going to. I'm going to end it there because I feel like that is a good kind of, it's not really a cliffhanger, but it's a solid ending point to where you can use your imagination and, you can see them working out their issues and dealing with all of the other, anyways. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you haven't, like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you guys so much. Bye!